hello. I'm usually used to being quieter. Welcome M4L crowd. Thank you. If you're confused about what you're doing, you're at a fan fiction reading now. You're celebrating this guy and this little guy. I'll explain him in a minute. But to explain myself, I'm Jessie Hennen. I direct the creative writing and literature programs here at SMSU. This is our contribution. Thank you very much, Mary Jane. This is our contribution to the annual Fine Arts celebration. I was a very serious student of fiction at the Iowa Writers Workshop, and previous to that, I was a fan fiction author. So it's very close to my heart. And if you have never read fan fiction, I'm so sorry for you, but now you're going to get to hear some. We have talented faculty, staff, students. We have a prepared statement by Stanger that we're going to read first. There's 6 readings in total. They're pretty short. A lot of them are about Stanger's emotional life. So they may conflict, right? You contain multitudes. Yeah, some of them directly contradict the others. And that's how fan fiction can work. So there will be prizes and a brief ceremony at the end. And they're actually good this year. Last year they were just eggs. So the previous year it was, you can name my baby chick. Anyway, but up first, we have an esteemed author. I printed out his Wikipedia page. Anthony Neil Smith is a mystery crime fiction writer who has had short stories published in literary magazines and crime writing zines, and has also published novels. He is co-creator of the online noir journal Plots with Guns. He was also an associate editor with the literary magazine Mississippi Review, and he's a professor of English at Southwest Minnesota State University. Go Stangs! Here with a prepared statement from Stanger himself is Neil. Thank you very much, Professor Smith.
Yes, Stanger asked that I read this statement for him, so he's already approving whatever I'm about to say. It seems all I ever hear all day, every day is, Stanger, cheer for us, or Stanger, dance for us, show your team spirit. And I do. I take my job as the mascot for Southwest Minnesota State University seriously. It's more vocation than job, really. It's a calling. And let's face it, I'm a 7-foot-tall mutant horse, so it's not like I have much choice. But sometimes, I'd like someone to ask me, how are you, Stanger? Maybe ask, do you feel like cheering today? We'll understand if you'd rather not. I'd like someone to get to know the real me, the mutant horse beneath the uniform. For example, my favorite color isn't brown. Brown means a lot to me. It really does. When I'm on fire for my team, then brown is where it's at, baby. But off the clock, I prefer fuchsia. I like birds. I like to watch them. Great flocks of starlings in their aerial ballet, or proud geese in their formations. Eagles soaring, woodpeckers at work, finches hopping along for seeds. Each tells its own story. Sometimes I dream I can soar like an eagle. And you all very well know that I cheer on every team sport at SMSU. Football, baseball, women's volleyball, wheelchair basketball, the other ones. But if I had to choose my favorite sport of all, it would be chess. A sport of the mind, I would love to stare down the grand masters of the world, tying them in knots as I outmaneuver their strategies. Alas, it'll never be, because hoofs. While the marching band plays most of the music I dance to for the games, with the booth supplying more jams, when I'm not jiving to the wicked beat, I prefer listening to the sultry sounds of Lionel Richie and the Commodores. Those guys know how to harmonize, let me tell you. Easy, Night Shift, Stuck on You, beautiful, soulful. And don't forget the funk of Brick House. Get down! More? Well, I don't like hay. I don't know why people think my palate is just like any other horse's. I'm 7 feet tall. Now, if you want to feed me, show up with a Chicago deep dish pizza. That's what I'm talking about. Chi-town, y'all. Where the sauce is thick and the cheese is buried. Wash it down with a cherry Pepsi. What a feast. I think most people would be surprised to discover I'm not the strong, silent type. I can speak quite eloquently, if I do say so myself. So much so that I devote a lot of my free time to acting. In fact, you'll find me sometimes on stage at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater, hidden in my role as, say, King Lear, or Willie Loman from Death of a Salesman. I was so good in Salesman. You can't eat the orange and throw the peel away. A man is not a piece of fruit. And neither is a horse. There's not a dry eye in the house. I hope this helps you understand me better. The real Stanger, not the dancing, cheering version, but the empathetic horse. An equine with a soft spot for beauty and the sublime. I'll always be your mascot, Southwest, but please get to know me off the field. You'll find an enriching friendship built for the good times and the hard times. Also, I run really fast, it's true, but I prefer to drive. And we all know Stanger's favorite car, right? Say it with me. Buick.
The lore continues to be built, fleshed out. A wonderful thing. Thank you, Stanger, for all the standing and gesturing. We love it. So up next is actually the winner of last year and the year before's student award could not be here because he's running the whole newspaper in our meeting over there. However, Tristan Primus did submit to me a small sketch, a dramatic telling of Stanger doing a very common thing in his own way. So with me are Kira Murphy, Kira's friend, whose name I didn't catch. Oh, Becca Cheadle, right, I could have known. John O'Brien, and Thomas Flynn, the MVP of Stanger Fiction, who keeps reading for us. I have a bit part in this one, it's not till the end. John will be playing the voice of Stanger. You guys are gonna have to hold the mic and hand it back and forth. So good luck, babes. So yeah, if we could just put John next to Stanger so that it's very clear that he is voicing Stanger's thoughts, or unsaid thoughts. All right, excellent. Kira, thank you for being the events assistant and for agreeing to be the stage direction reader. So here we are, not a full stage. All right, take it away.
Thank you all for coming. Interior, DMV day. Stanger is at the DMV trying to get his clomping license. Stanger stands on one side of the secretary's desk. Papers with random scribbles on them sit on the desk. The scribblings remind Stanger of elementary art class. Stanger is getting increasingly annoyed because, he's in the DMV. He stares hopelessly at the lady across the desk, wearing huge librarian glasses, and his big grin is starting to fade.
Nay.
He stomps his foot as the lady stares at him with vacant eyes.
I'm sorry, Mr. the mascot, but I cannot understand you. You need to show proof of employment.
As the words are still leaving her mouth, a short lady with chopped red dyed hair walks in. As she slams the door open, the collection of bells above the door ring, reminding Stanger of when elementary art class would end. She rushes to Stanger's side while rampaging through her purse.
Hello. Hi, Stanger.
The interpreter's hair is completely wild, with little fiery strands reaching out in every way. She looks stressed, but somehow calm, like a professional.
I know. I'm late. I'm so sorry.
She grabs a stack of papers out of her purse and hands them to the lady standing behind the desk.
This should be all you need. Now, can we move to the clomping test and get a new pair of shoes? Nay. It's going to be okay. Nay. We know you hate it when you have to change your shoes, but you need nicer shoes if you want to go on the new RA floor.
She leans over to whisper to the lady behind the desk.
He hates the feeling of getting new shoes, so if we can just get this done really quickly, I will owe you. Nay. I'm sorry, buddy. That you weren't supposed to hear that. How about afterwards, I buy you a carrot split?
The DMV lady clears her throat and cuts in on the conversation.
Someone is back there now to give you your clomping test and new horseshoes.
She points down a hall to her left, and there's an open door near the back of it.
Nay.
Stanger walks down the lonely hallway to the open door, staring at the floor and shuffling his feet on the way. When Stanger is out of sight, the DMV lady looks at the interpreter, curiosity spilling from her eyes. What is a carrot split?
That. It's like a banana split, but the bananas are carrots, and the ice cream is carrots as well. He loves them.
Sure, sounds tasty.
Interior, DMV waiting area, night. The interpreter is lounging in the waiting chairs, almost asleep. She catches herself as she nearly dozes off.
How long is this supposed to take?
She looks at her watch and groans.
I've been waiting for 4 hours.
I don't know. I'll call.
She picks up the phone on the desk and clicks a few buttons, and she starts talking into it.
What's taking so long on that clomping test? He'll be out in a couple of minutes? All right, thank you.
She looks up from her desk and says, inappropriately loudly,
Stanger is almost done. Just a few minutes.
Thank you.
After a few minutes of waiting, Stanger walks uncomfortably down the hall with a tester, helping him stay up in a straight line.
I'm tired too, buddy. Let's go back to SMSU stables and get me that carrot split. Nay!
Oh, sorry. Just 1 second. Stanger failed his eye exam, so he's gonna need these.
He hands the interpreter a big pair of novelty-sized reading glasses. They are big, red, and gaudy.
Now these are only temporary.
The interpreter busts out laughing and jumping around while pointing at Stanger.
Stanger has to wear glasses! Stanger has to wear glasses!
Stanger promptly puts on his glasses and smiles wide.
You're fired.
The interpreter stops dancing and looks dumbfounded towards Stanger.
What? Why?
Isn't it obvious you are making fun of my new awesome glasses? Oh, and of course now I can speak for myself.
Fade to black.
distracted. Some of you didn't know you were doing this until 10 minutes ago, so I'll leave it to you to tell which. All right, one more round of applause for our fabulous team reading, including Stanger, who did good acting. He's wonderful. Excellent. Oh, sorry, buddy. Someday soon. Okay, but we teach a couple of different kinds of classes in the English program. Sketch comedy is one of them. That was from that class. And then right before that, I teach horror class. So it's like the tragedy and comedy masks. Yesterday we were talking about the reading for a couple reasons that will become clear in a sec. And Skyler Littlecreek said, I think I have something that could be Stanger fanfiction. And it turns out if you just change some words in an homage to The Haunting of Hill House, it's pretty great. So, yeah, fanfiction of a fanfiction of a fanfiction. I don't know how far down the rabbit hole we are now. So, thank you so much, Skyler.
Okay, so this paper has been retitled Heartbreak Ranch. I go to the window and look out to see a large river winding its way through the countryside. Trees line the far edge and wildflowers line the other. There's a small walking path that ends with a gazebo and a small table. They both could use some refurbishing. I hear a voice in the hall. Leaving my room, I see her holding the same letter that I had received. Hi, I'm Anna. I'm Nora. We turn at the sound of laughter. He holds up a key and the letter. I'm Duke, by the way. He reaches out to shake our hands. A bell rings with a dinner announcement following. I turn to the other, shrug my shoulders, and head to the lobby. It smells amazing. Sitting down, we serve ourselves. The food tastes amazing. After dinner, we head back to our rooms. I'm exhausted, as if I haven't slept in days. Laying on the bed, I close my eyes. There's a scratching sound waking all of us. The scratching stops for a moment, then I hear it move. Nails on chalkboard, scraping the floor and the wall at the same time. How is that possible? The scratching sound stops. We wait a few minutes and then come out of our rooms. The wallpaper looks as if Freddy Krueger visited. Nora and I look at each other, a weak smile on my face. Wanna join me in my room? There's only one bed, but it's a king. Sounds good to me. The scratching made me think there's a monster under my bed. I turn to Nora and pull her into my room. She lays down and falls asleep quickly. When I wake Nora, she begs me to join her in her room so she can get clothes. We stop short. Her clothes are shredded. She begins to cry. I tell her not to worry. I have an extra outfit, and after we can go shopping. Duke comes in with a bag. Here, I overheard you crying. This was in my closet. Nora opens the bag and finds an evening gown. She laughs. It's a little much for the conference, but I don't have a car. I had to take a taxi here, and the driver told me he was never coming back. My GPS glitched when I pulled up. I thought this place was abandoned, honestly. Duke laughed. My motorcycle broke on the way in. It felt like a warning. I hope this conference is worth it, I grimace. We walk into the conference room and find it almost empty. Only a table with 4 chairs. Is it just us and the speaker? I thought there were more people. It is a writer's conference, Nora quipped. Duke groaned. Maybe we can get all the writing exercises done today, and we won't have to stay all weekend. Fingers crossed. The speaker, Dr. Stanger, comes in with too much jubilee. Ah, you all made it. I'm so glad. Duke and I both raise our eyebrows and look at Nora. This man's crazy. Just as we sit down, an alarm sounded and a stable hand runs in yelling, "You must leave! The back of the barn is on fire!" Jumping up, we run out and find that the fire was just the sun reflecting off the greenhouse. How weird is it that this renovated hotel barn has a greenhouse? We got back to the conference room. The table was gone and a layer of dust covered the floor. It was as if the room had never been used. Let alone us walking into it not 5 minutes prior. We stopped the stable hand as he walked by to ask him what was going on. There is no other conference room, and we didn't set this one up either. The room has always been like this. I stared in the confusion. You literally just told us to leave this room because there was a fire. I did no such thing. Oh, well, can you get someone to vacuum this room and bring a table in? Dr. Stanger asked. He walked away while muttering something none of us could hear. Maybe we should just use the dining room table, Duke suggested. We all agreed and headed that way. The stable hand was standing at the desk and raised an eyebrow as we walked by. Sitting at the dining table, we pulled out our notebooks, ready for Dr. Stanger to give us his words of wisdom. Before we could speak, Nora asked, "Did you two hear the scraping noises yesterday or see the wallpaper all scratched up?" Dr. Stanger said, "What noise? I heard nothing. There was no scratches on the wallpaper either. My hand was covered in dust and grime when I touched it." We rushed to the hallway, and sure enough, there was nothing on the wall, not even Dr. Stanger's finger swipes. Okay, I'm officially freaked out. Nora walks into her room. Not 5 seconds later, we hear a thud. "Ask him why" was written on the wall. Ask him why? That doesn't make any sense. Who are they referring to? "I can't do this. I won't do this. I'm done." She grabs her bag, stuffing everything in. Dr. Stanger pleadingly asks, "Please stay, just the day. You can leave in the morning." "No, I'm leaving now." Nora pushes past us and walks straight out. We follow behind her. Without warning, Dr. Stanger walks up behind her and snaps her neck. No one is leaving before I say they can. Duke and I stare at each other in utter shock. Dr. Stanger turns to us and smiles. "Are you two ready to learn?" Nodding our heads, we go back to the dining room.
I don't think I realized like how much having the visual of Stanger standing there would help. Like, thank you, Dr. Stanger. You really contain multitudes. So we have 3 more quick readings. One of them is from a person who I guess is going to remain anonymous because she submitted it under the handle FemReader. So if you have read fanfiction on the internet, you know that there's certain expectations of the genre that many people have. And at first I was surprised as to why this one had wound up in my spam. And then I read on. It was very well written, but I could see why it had ended up in my spam. So I've heavily edited it. You will get a taste of the multitudes that this story contains, and then it will end before it actually ended. But however, as her reward, the person who agreed to read it on behalf of FemReader asked for the whole thing. And I've sealed it in an envelope. So this is just for Lexi. Lexi, can you come up here and read this very short excerpt of a fan fiction featuring a person, not a horse, a person in a horse costume.
I almost took Isaac out in the process.
Lexi, you're a brave soul.
Thank you for agreeing to do this. I asked the horror class yesterday who would, and Lexi was like, "I'll do it." And I love that for her. I'll bring you the mic.
Sweet.
There is no ramp. Alright,
Standing by me.
I will be the microphone.
So you can get to hear this up close and personal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, this one is called The Mascot. I'm a sophomore at Southwest Minnesota State University, and honestly, this place is boring. The only source of entertainment that I get is from going to sporting events. However, I don't go for the sports, no. I go for him, Stanger, the school's mascot. There's just something about him. Maybe it's the way he interacts with the fans, or the way he dances along with the cheerleaders that make him so alluring. That, and no one knows who he is under the mask. It's your typical Friday night basketball game, and Stanger is mingling in the crowd. He looks up at me in the student section and waves. I smile and wave back. He looks down to watch his step as he climbs the bleachers up to me. He nudges past a few students and sits down beside me. I look at that big horse head, reach out, and carefully stroke his snout. He seems a little surprised, but he doesn't pull away. I grin and call him a good horse. He stifles a laugh. A few children are pointing from afar, and he takes that as his cue to leave. He gives me another wave before mingling with the kids. I'm left puzzling Stanger's identity again. There's another game tomorrow. Maybe I can gather more clues if I attend the game too. I sit in the same spot as yesterday, waiting. I spot him mingling with the fans. He is slowly making his way to the student section. He watches his steps carefully. He scans the crowd as if he is searching for the best person to interact with. Then his gaze lands on me. Me too. How do I know? I feel it. He makes his way up the stairs. It's the same man as yesterday. I can tell by the way he squeezes through the crowd and watches his steps. He sits down next to me again. He waves at me. My brows raised. I reach out and pet him again. Come back for seconds, huh? He doesn't say anything, but he lingers by me. I take the time to analyze him. Before he gets up, he takes my hand in his and squeezes a little. He, of course, can't speak, so I don't bother with any questions. He stares at me for a long moment, and I can only guess what he is trying to tell me. I'll stay after the game for a little bit, I say. He nodded, his big head bobbing. I laugh a little as he stands up to continue his job. And then there is a note left by Professor Hennen. The remaining 3 pages have been cut, even though they are very well written.
Your reward is the rest of the story. You can have it. Okay, thank you, Fem Reader, for that. I can't unsee. So, yeah, you guys did great. Good job. I'm so glad. So we have 2 more, very quick, that also build out the lore of Stanger quite wholesomely, I would add. So with me is Amanda Bemer, Dr. Amanda Bemer, who is here to reluctantly riff on an extended metaphor. Yeah. Come on up, Amanda. Oh yeah, we didn't even introduce him yet. This is Stanger's baby.
Yeah, I got her. It. I got it. This is titled, Is Baby Stanger a Girl? And in the spirit of professional writing, this is not a story, this is a bulleted list. Because I can't write a story. Is Baby Stanger a girl? Baby Stanger attends events against their will. People frequently talk over Baby Stanger. People are always commenting on Baby Stanger's appearance. Baby Stanger is always smiling, no matter what emotion Baby Stanger is feeling. In the workplace environment, people don't take Baby Stanger very seriously. Baby Stanger has no pockets.
Thank you, Amanda. Well, but how did this happen? You know, how did Baby Stanger come to be in the first place? You might be wondering, so I wrote you a story.
Yes.
Thank you. It's by someone named Phyllis. A few weeks ago, my husband came home from work. I didn't notice at first. I was working on a closing argument, and the clicking of my giant custom keyboard had drowned out the familiar clip-clop of his hooves. Beep, spooking me. When I said, "Hi, honey," I went to nibble him hello on the withers. He's always sweaty, but that day he was unusually sweaty. Steam rising from under his jersey, foam clotting his flank. It smelled like anxiety. "I got a little surprise for you," he said. Great, now I was nervous too. As one of the first female equine attorneys in the nation, let alone Minnesota, you do not make partner without a certain ability to read people's emotions. "So you know that you're saying, like, you're always on the fence about having kids?" I actually was not on the fence. Back at the ranch where we met, other people clustered by the boards, beyond which all the fillies and mares and colts played. They were cooing jealously. And I thought the babies were cute, but I really preferred to hide under a tree and study for that damn tricky logic games portion of the LSAT. Ugh. Stanger kept going. Cause you're weirded out, how it would change your body, and you don't enjoy, how strangers might start touching it, and what if you ate something you didn't know you were supposed to eat, and then the kid was damaged forever. It was nice that he'd been listening. So babe, guess what? You know I can never guess what with you, honey, I said. It was one of those things I liked and didn't like about him. We have a kid! And then there he was, a little brown-haired foal, legs wobbling, stumbled in through the door. Wow, look at those markings, I said, and the color, it's a lot like yours. The foal grinned at me, its eyes not blinking. What a crazy coincidence, said Stanger. Anyway, it's just gonna be fun for us to watch him, I guess, for a while. I said, Stanger, I'm kind of in the middle of something here. He said, look, there's never the right time. That's what my dam says. If you wait until the perfect moment, then you're never gonna have one. And we have one right now. But who was this fool? And at that, he looked really nervous. I found him at the bus station, he said. Anyway, bye, have fun. And he galloped off to supervise football practice. The baby and I stared at each other. Do you have a name? I asked. It made some burble sounds in its throat. And then it sat down on our floor in a way that horses do not. Stanger's head craned around the door frame. Oh, it's Baby Stanger, he said, and then scurried away. Okay, my husband and I have always had a kind of don't ask, don't tell policy when it comes to away games. I did the math. There'd been an intramural tournament in Sioux Falls a year ago, and whatever poor silly girl he met, whatever thoughtless thing they'd gotten up to, I had to face it. Baby Stanger had the same markings, same thick mane, same stare, and jealousy overtook me, or it should have. In the moment, though, I was really more focused on delivering a banger of a closing remark. And I was also exasperated by the potential needs of the small person sitting at my feet. You eat hay, even? I asked him. And he said something. He said, Mama, I'm big enough for that. And I said, cool, not your mother. And as I watched Baby Stanger gum the remnants of my pile of hay, I see a little bit. But I was also glad that this weird-looking kid was not my fault. If there was a reason his front hooves didn't touch the ground, it wasn't because of something I'd done or not done. And so, in my adversarial way, I decided to rise to the challenge. I brought Stanger's child with me, and a borrowed saddlebag to the trial. A little bit worried by the weird noises that weren't really horse-like but kept oozing out of his mouth. I began my opening remarks with apologies. Sorry, I have a kid with me, but he's gonna stay in the saddlebag. Hurrah! Murmured Baby Stanger, poking his head out. Oh my God, said the jury, adorable! And I was pretty sure we were gonna head for a mistrial, but I won unexpectedly, and so I took Baby Stanger out for ice cream. Of course, he knocked the ice cream off the cone and started licking it off the bench. And then I heard my husband's hooves, and they sounded a little contrite. You know, Stanger, I should really leave you for this, I heard myself say, my breath cold in the night spring air. But we have a baby now, said Stanger. It's not our baby, it's your baby, I said, turning my tail to him, and somebody else's. What you mean, Mama? sobbed Baby Stanger. Oh, babe, no, babe, said Stanger. That was it. And then Baby Stanger raised his head from the pile of ice cream. Tell him about the experiment. Are you dumb, Diddy? And it was so like something I would say in the height of a heated moment that I turned around. Baby Stanger's smile now had an aura of mockery to it. Someone out there? Said the Burger King drive-thru guy, sensing tension. Stanger's hoofs scraped the spring dirt. So I just didn't tell you about the whole cloning thing, huh? Best of both worlds. Apparently last year, a retiring science professor tried to recreate Stanger from a few swatches of hair he ripped off post-game, and Stanger did not mention it. Classic. I'm not involved genetically, but it means that everything wrong with Baby Stanger, it is on him. And so I'm free to love this child as I please, which includes regularly taking him to court where he continues to seduce the jury, and appreciating the fact that he's never going to get larger than he is now. So I tuck him in the saddlebag and I go, and I tell him what's right and what's wrong in the world, and he takes it in with wonder. "Wow, Mama," he'll say, "did Daddy do a dumb thing again?" And I'll say yes, but it's okay, because we got each other now. All right, that's been Stanger the Fiction. Thank you so much to those who read. We have prizes, but they're kind of, there are 5 of them, so it's going to be weird to divide them. But I do want to show you what they are. So, you know, if you were involved, you can come on up and we'll figure it out. We will hash this out together. So, but maybe like come up and take a little picture if you're still here and you read. So.